the recommendations of the previous exercises were mainly for probably older adults in the community settings, okay? And what about those very ill or forced to stay in bed because of certain requirements, okay? So bed rest, we know, everybody knows that is deleterious to our physiological system. And now because we are talking about muscle health, okay, finding from a very classical study, trying to compare the locations and the degree of the extent of the muscle weakness, okay, they conclude from this study that there is a great variability in the degree and locations of muscles lost during bed rest, and that the lower limbs muscles are primarily affected, particularly the anti-gravity muscles. And this is another study, a few studies, impact of short-term exercise prehabilitations on skeletal muscle protein synthesis and atrophy during bed rest in older men. Another study, impact of resistant exercise during bed rest on skeletal muscle sarcopenia and myosin isoform distributions. Okay, so remember that we know that all the adults, when they are forced to be in prolonged bed rest, they will be undergoing a muscle protein breakdown, and at the same time, there should be some process of muscle protein synthesis. Okay, so these studies found that incorporating exercises during bed rest may slow down the muscle protein breakdown, but it may not necessarily increase the muscle protein synthesis. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that sarcopenia somehow or rather is progressive. Okay, so when designing exercises for older adults who are forced to be in bed rest, okay, so we need to know, previous slide, we have already indicated that which muscle is mostly affected. Okay, so when you design exercises for those in bed, okay, so please consider those muscles that affected. Okay, there are many studies have reported that anti-gravity muscles are mostly affected. So what is anti-gravity muscles? Okay, so many studies suggested sit to stand exercises either alone or combined with protein-rich oral supplementations actually is beneficial to maintain the fitness of muscles during bed rest. Okay, so based on my readings and based on literature reviews, based on the evidence, okay, so we really suggest that sit to stand is one of the best exercises that you can incorporate for your patients in those frail or semi-frail. Okay, so because why sit to stand? It involves multi-joint exercises. It functional. It is specific to the functions of older people, and you can vary the exercises from simple or basic sit to stand to more difficult movements. Okay. another exercises that can be incorporated in your patients while they are in bed rest. Maybe you need to be more innovative in designing how to do leg press in the ward. For example, the use of TheraBand. Okay. All right. So that is a brief overview of the principles of resistance training to combat sarcopenia. Now, recommendations number 8 by the Singapore Consensus. They suggested that adequate calorie and protein diet support muscle health for healthy community dwelling older adults. Okay, so we need to ask the dietitians what is the best protein, and protein need to sufficient protein means it has to be calculated based on the requirements.